I think one of the biggest things I regret content-wise out of all of my content was probably a lot of, not all, but a lot of the old sponsored videos I did like 2023, late 22 era relating to like 8 and like, you know, C and all that stuff. EA is a beautiful thing. It's just normal. And I 100% stand by all the content I made about A and CBD stuff. But all the altnoids, in retrospect, I regret promoting any of them. I regret doing that content. I just didn't understand at the time. And I was broke. I'd gotten demonetized and I was desperate for money. And I folded for sponsorships that I maybe shouldn't have taken. And that's probably the only type of content I've ever put out on my channel that I deeply regret. And if you go on my channel, I've deleted all of it. Like all of my old 8 content is gone, you know? That was the only time that I've promoted something that I didn't genuinely consume in my free time, you know? Like 8 was not something I smoked in my free time. But sometimes maybe I made it seem like I did just to pay my bills. And like, that's something I deeply, deeply regret, you know? That's the main thing. Like, man, if I could go back, like, yeah, on one hand, dude, there was points where without that sponsor money, I wouldn't have paid my bills that month. I wouldn't have been able to pay my bills that month. But like, I still regret it. I still wish I just found a different way or something. I don't know. It was a really hard time for me. It was like right after my demonetization, before I had any alternative income set up. My Twitch wasn't a thing yet. It was a thing, but I wasn't really seriously making money or streaming. My fucking, I don't know. I mean, I never lied in those videos. I was very upfront about how I felt about the products at the time, but I also just like, I'm a very principled person in the aspect of like, I promote things that I actually would use and enjoy, you know? And a lot of those products were things that I wouldn't choose to use outside of the video. Not that they were bad things, they just weren't things that I would choose to use outside of that video. And that's something that I look back on and I feel shitty about it. I'm just like, man, like I wish I didn't do that. You know? That's like one of the biggest regrets that I had for my content. I think another piece of content that I regretted making pretty bad was when I ate 4,200 milligrams of RSO on stream. How many of you guys remember that stream where I ate 5 grams of RSO? I regret that one deeply for a number of reasons, okay? First and foremost, because I was an idiot and I didn't really properly monetize it. I didn't make the most of it. I should have been farming clips of that. I should have done 100 different re-uploads on clip channels. I should have been doing podcasts about that. Instead, I did it on a live stream that I never clipped and I never put the VOD anywhere. It was just, if you were there, you were there. And if not, get fucked, you know? And I regretted that because as soon as I did that, I ate a couple big edible doses on my main channel too. I don't know if I ever made a main channel video of that. I think I maybe did. I don't know. But after I did that, it felt like it set a precedent where like I had to eat these giant edible doses or else no one gave a fuck. That was like the guy. I was like, oh, I'm the giant dose edible guy. And deep down, I hated it, bro. I always knew I was in for like a traumatic experience whenever I would eat these giant edible doses, because then I couldn't make a video eating a few hundred milligrams now. Now it's like, nah, bro, I have to eat 3,000 milligrams or else I'm a pussy retard. You know, like, no, I didn't even enjoy that high. That night, when I ate the 4,200 milligrams, the 5 grams of RSO, I felt like shit, but it didn't really hit me until the next day. The next day, I woke up and I was like, yo, I felt brain dead. I was high for days straight and I hated that feeling. I hated it. It was so scary. It was the first time I had been scared of being high on weed. I hated it. And I felt like after that, I had backed myself into a corner. It was like, well, I have to make more edible content like this or else I'm fucked. If I don't make any edible content, like if I eat a smaller dose in this, I'm fucked, you know? And deep down, like, dude, I don't even enjoy edibles. I remember you kept saying you felt fine, but it didn't seem like it. Yeah, I was just trying to thug it out, dude. I didn't want y'all to think I was a bitch. Deep down, bro, I was crying inside. That shit was horrible. That shit was terrible. That was the worst decision I've ever made. That shit was horrid, man. I hated that shit. I would never eat that big of a dose of edibles ever again, bro. Ever. I'm getting lost in the sauce here. Another thing that I regret, the only other type of content I regret, and this is less about the type of content I regret, but more just I regret doing this in general. I really regret all my old videos about finessing and robbing people. And listen, I'm the kind of guy, like, I never had to physically, like, rob somebody, like aggressively rob somebody Look at me. Motherfuckers let their guard down around me, okay? They don't think I'm grabbing their bag. They don't think I'm handing them a fake bill. They don't think I'm finessing. They look at me and they're like, yo, this is a trustworthy, goofy gentleman, okay? They looked at me and they underestimated my ass. You know, they're like, yo, this is a goofy. He ain't doing this shit. I used to finesse my own friends. I used to short bags all the time. There's a lot more finesse stories than I ever told on the channel. I only ever told the ones that I, like, didn't feel bad about. Deep down, there's a lot more that I never told on the channel that I just feel bad about, bro. Because it's like, man, some of those people were my friends. Some of those people just didn't deserve that coming to them. And I feel bad for that. You know, if I, like, today, if I could just get a comprehensive list of every person I finessed money out of when I was younger, I would repay every single person double. I feel so bad about it. But, like, back then when I was young, it was totally different because the only thing I cared about was getting high. I didn't give a fuck about anything else, bro. I didn't care how the other person felt. Motherfucker, we were getting high. And I don't think the regret ever hit me until I fully got sober. You legit said you were a bad plug because you gave them too much weed, made a whole video. Yeah, with my friends that I didn't finesse. With the people I did finesse, it was the polar opposite. I was never an in-the-middle guy. I was an extremist on one end or the other. When I bought an ounce of weed and I was going to flip it, if one of my good friends hit me up, right? Like, let's say fucking Kyle, Ashton, fucking Cody hit me up, something like that, I'm going to pack their bag proper. If a motherfucker who didn't hang out with me on the regular hit me up, you're getting a half gram for every gram you asked for. And if you have a scale, I'm going to take your money and floor it. I'm going to drive off, you know? that was just how I was, you know? I would do whatever it took to get high. And I feel really bad about that. I wish I could go back and, like, actually apologize to those people, you know? When you're really getting high, when you're an active drug addict, when you're going through that shit, you don't feel guilt. You don't feel bad because you're solely achieving your objective. Your only focus is like, yo, I need to get fucked up. I'm not happy mentally right now. I need to get fucked up. You know, life is bad right now. I need to get high. The thought never crossed. It wasn't like I was in my mind consciously like, yo, I want to make this guy's day worse. Yo, I want to fuck this guy's day up. The only thing in my mind was getting high. And if I had to fuck someone else's day up to do that, I was going to do it every single time. Because I was just so desperate to not be left with my thoughts. It was like, yo, I'd rather do anything than sit here and think about the shit I've done. Do you have anything on Apple Music? Dude, Apple Music makes you pay to sign up and they compensate you like nothing. They literally give you nothing for it. There's no, like, the reason I'm not on Apple is because there's no reason to do it. Like, just being totally transparent, on YouTube and on Spotify, I make money. With my main channel content, I don't care really that much if I make money. But with my podcast, I do because there's expenses tied to it. I have 2 producers to pay. I have a thumbnail designer to pay. I have a roof to put over my studio that I need to pay for, right? I got to pay rent. So, like, I min-max the amount of money I can make off my podcast. My main channel, I don't give a fuck. But, like, Apple Music doesn't pay anything, and I'm not willing to divert any of my audience that I can, make money from and monetize to a non-paying platform because it just fucks up my income. It fucks up all my bills. And you got to realize, like, my podcast is very successful. Yeah, of course, we do great numbers, but it's really expensive. It's really expensive, you know, to run a podcast. You have all these expenses, and a lot of the stuff that people don't think about is the small shit, like getting people to your studio. When you have someone out of state, the majority of the time, they expect you to fly them out, which I do. I fly out a lot of out-of-state guests. I cover their hotels, too. That costs minimum $1,000 on the low end for the trip, you know? I got to pay my production. Production on my podcast, including the thumbnail, is about $2,000 per episode. It's not cheap, guys. Doing this shit's not cheap, but I invest in it because I love it. Could I save money and hire people that are cheaper? Absolutely. But I don't want to because I love this shit, you know? So I invest in it. So yeah, that's just, you know, I care much more about monetization with the podcast. You get your primary income, if not your main channel. I mean, it's definitely diversified at this point. Podcast, Twitch, fucking the Only Gas is a major one. Sponsorships, kinda. I've been turning down more sponsorships lately. Just doing the shit for the love of the game type of vibe. You know, podcast is the only place I take sponsorships. I haven't taken a main channel sponsor, and I don't even know how long. I have no idea. But that's, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. If you brought Only Gas to Canada, it would pop off. That's not legal. I can't do that. That is not legal. A CS trading sponsor would be cool, could top the inventory up a little. The problem is all those CS sponsors end up being gambling sites too. And I don't know, man. I think sports betting is different, but like gambling, like online slots, I don't enjoy, so I won't promote. I don't want to promote something that I don't enjoy. That's kind of my motto. That's when I take a sponsorship, when I debate on a client, I try to think of like, do I enjoy this? And if I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to fucking pretend, bro. I don't pretend for money. Like I don't pretend. I'm not a whore. I'm not going to pretend to enjoy this for money. I'm not a prostitute. Okay. Like, no, if I don't like something, I don't fucking like it and I'm not going to do it, you know? And I don't enjoy online gambling. Now, if a casino hit my line and said, Goblin, we want to sponsor you to come play in-person Baccarat and you can stream it, motherfucker, I'm in that bitch every day. Okay. But I just don't enjoy online gambling, so I don't really promote that kind of stuff, you know? I think sports betting's a little different because I do sports bet sometimes. I used to work with MyBookie a lot, and I do sports bet sometimes. You know, UFC in particular is something I sports bet a lot. And although, yeah, I still think maybe it's a little iffy, I don't view it as bad as these full gambling sites. You know, these sketchy offshore gambling sites where the odds are like no one can verify them or anything. I think sports betting is like, well, it exists everywhere, you know? Dream sponsorship. Honestly, something that won't get me demonetized or age restricted. I have a million sponsors that are weed related. I've had a couple hit me up for the podcast that are alcohol related, but you know, they didn't have the budget for where we're at or anything like that. And you know, my dream sponsor is probably like a drink, dude. I want like, give me a water brand, bro. Mountain Valley, spring water, sponsor my ass. We're outside, you know? We're outside. Heard a lot about MyBookie from you back in the day. Yeah, I mean, I used to do, they were like one of my top clients years ago. Okay, not Fiji, bro. Fiji's not good. Fiji is not enjoyable water, dude. Fiji is not good. That shit has a funky taste to it, dude. It doesn't matter where plastic bottle. I don't give a fuck where it comes from. Fiji has a funny taste. You can just taste that something is not correct in the Fiji, okay? Something's not right in that shit. Surprised you don't have a G Fuel flavor, a sponsor at this point. Bro, fucking Gamer Sups hit me up like a month or two ago. They wanted to give me a sponsorship, but they wouldn't give me code Goblin because some other influencer that hasn't posted in like months and has 7,000 followers has the code Goblin, which no disrespect to them. I don't mean like, I don't have any animosity towards that person. Get it, you know, get your bag. But why the hell would you hit me up for a sponsorship and be like, yo, your namesake code is taken? So all your fucked up stoned viewers who go to our website and enter code Goblin. The problem was not whether or not I had code Goblin. The problem was Code Goblin was a real code that didn't work, or that worked. And people, I know you guys, my fucked up viewers would go to the website, not remember my code, be too lazy to go back and check it, just type in Goblin, saying, hey, I hope it works. And it does work, but it's someone else's code, and they make the purchase, and then someone else is making a bunch of money off my back, and the people who just enter that code have no idea it's not even the right code for me, right? That's what I envision. So I told them that, and I was like, listen, bro, I understand, like, I appreciate you guys hitting me up, but if I can't have code Goblin, this is never happening as long as code Goblin is a valid code that isn't mine. Because my viewers are all fucked up. They're all stoned. They're not going to go back and check. These are not people that do their due diligence, okay? These motherfuckers are high on Xanax, okay? It's code Goblin or nothing, you know? Like that, they just weren't willing to fold, so that was the end of that. You know, that was the end of that. Cannabis planting tent companies have lots of money and sponsor YouTubers. AC Infinity. AC Infinity's hit me up probably a million fucking times. They want me to put a grow tent in the corner of my apartment. I'm too lazy for that shit. You couldn't pay me $100,000 to grow a plant. I don't give a fuck. Let the experts do it, bro. I don't want to grow that stupid shit. Okay? Let the experts do that shit. I just want to smoke it when it's done. So that's why they've hit me up a trillion times. I also just I don't really want like weed clients anymore, bro. I want like normal sponsors. But the problem with that is normal sponsors don't want me because of my content. So what are you going to do? You know? Does he get a new plaque? Yo, can I vent about the plaque situation, you guys? YouTube will not give me a plaque, period. I never got my 100K plaque from my main channel. The only reason that I have a 100K plaque sitting behind me up there right now, hold on, there you go, up there. Right. The only reason that I have that right there is because that's actually for the Gobcast. And I changed the name on it to just say Goblin instead of the Gobcast. And that was just what I had to do. The reason that they won't give me a plaque is because my content is not community guidelines friendly. So YouTube never gave me my 100K plaque. I have 1 million now. They're never going to give me a million plaque. I'm never going to get a gold plaque unless I somehow get it custom made or I get a million on the Gobcast, which we're a long way away from that. Why not get it custom made? It's not the same, bro. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not a pretender. I want the real thing or I don't fucking want it. You know? Like, I don't want a remake of it. No, I have a million subs either way. Like, it doesn't change in my heart how many subs I have. But I want the real trophy. I want the real gold plaque. I don't want a fake. I don't want a remake. I want the real motherfucking gold plaque. You know? I can just go check my sub count whenever I want, motherfucker. Let me pull up my phone real quick. Hold on now. Let's see. Let me pull up my phone. 1 million subscribers. Okay, we're good. And then put that back down. But still, I don't have my fucking plaque. I can't check that on the phone. I think it's fucked up too, because like back in the day, honestly, I kind of understand it. I think my old content definitely did glorify drug use, and I understand YouTube's perspective on not giving me my plaque. I think not giving me my plaque now is fucked up. I think I've genuinely pivoted my content, tried to make a difference for the better, for the overall YouTube community. I personally think I'm making a type of content that no one else on the platform is making. I don't think anyone else is making the type of harm reduction content that I make. And I just wish YouTube would recognize my objective with this channel. I wish YouTube would I wish I had the chance to sit down with the people at YouTube who make these decisions and just explain to them what I do on this channel, you know? Because I understand where they're coming from just on first glance. A lot of sponsors feel the same way, right? You look at my channel, you see first time smoking. I mean, what pops up when you click on my channel? Let's take a look, right? You click on my channel, the Drug Addict Commandments, bro. Fucking Creative Play, Miami Mayhem, Acid Trip Report, Coke Chronicles, popular videos, drug tier list. Like, obviously, okay, you might think like this is one thing, but it's really not that, you know? In my opinion, the reason that I don't just go full like educational harm reduction content is because I think the best way to get people's attention, especially young people that are doing drugs, is not trying to be a DARE employee, not trying to show up and just tell them everything that's bad. You tell them about your good times when you do it, and then explain to them why that good time was still a bad thing, actually. You know, I think that's the way to grab attention of the people who really need it the most. And I just wish that YouTube would comprehend what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to tell people to go do drugs. I'm trying to tell people to not do drugs through my experiences of doing them. And they just, I don't know, man. A lot of these platforms don't really get it. It is what it is. You know? It is what it is. What are you going to do? It's cheaper for them not to care. Yeah, I mean, to an extent. But also, like, bro, when I was monetized, I made YouTube plenty of money. I made YouTube plenty of fucking money, dude. And yeah, also, they still run ads on my videos. They just don't pay me for them. Like, they still run rehab ads and shit in front of my videos. I just don't get paid for them anymore. So, fuck Twitch sub up, though. Bro, a lot of people complain about Twitch. A lot of streamers complain about Twitch. This platform is great. It's been nothing but kind to me. They let me smoke and say whatever the fuck I want on here. I've never been banned on Twitch outside of that one time when I speed ran a ban. And I just, you know, at the end of the day, this platform allows me to do what I want to do on it, and I can't say the same for a lot of others. So you should get Therapy Gecko on the pod or vice versa. That would be interesting. I have a lineup of guests. You know, I have a good lineup coming soon, guys. Fucking this upcoming week actually is the Blazing Asian episode dropping. This week we have the Blazing Asian episode dropping, which is fucking heat, absolutely mental. It's gonna be a good episode. This is the first podcast that Blazing Asian has ever done, and it's also his first time really publicly addressing his like mental health break. You know, this is his first time where he's like, "Yo, like this is what happened on the internet." You know, this is why I said what I said. So it's gonna be interesting, dude. It's gonna be interesting. Damn, my glasses are like uneven and shit. What the hell? I saw his video addressing it, bro. There was a lot more that he talks about on the show that he's never said online, including his first psychosis. He had one in 2020. He showed me a crime he committed that went on the news that was crazy as fuck that he's never talked about before publicly, and I didn't believe him until I looked up the news article, and it's real. Blaze, I don't think you guys understand. That motherfucker's actually like a Goblin community member. Like, that guy's just one of y'all if he made a YouTube channel. Like, he was saying some of the most hilarious shit ever. I was just sitting there like, wow. That's low-key me. I guess, no, I'll talk about he stole a cop car. He talks about this on the show. He stole a running cop car outside of a police station and joyrode it through Staten Island and got arrested for doing that. And it went on the news for that. Like, there was an article written about it. And, like, he brought that up during the show. And I was sitting there like, what? Like, are you fucking... what are you saying? We're like, I genuinely didn't believe it almost. And then I looked up the news article, and it's like, oh, fuck, he really actually did steal a cop car, you know? I was like, oh shit, dude. I told him he should make story videos. I said to him, I was like, bro, why do you not talk about this like in videos? He's like, I don't know. I told him he should make some fucking story videos. You could high key make a bag doing this shit. Oh, for sure. Telling story videos, as long as he doesn't get demonetized. Once you get demonetized, buddy, you're in trouble. Anyone too controversial you'd like to get on the podcast? I don't know if anyone is like too controversial for the pod. Like, I don't know if there's such a thing as that. Like, I'm willing to have pretty much anybody on the show as long as they're down to, like, sit down and be open and talk. That's the only prerequisite I think I have to coming on the show. Ask Dave Blunts to connect you with Kanye. I can't, listen, that's like, you can't just do that. You can't just, like, learn someone has a connection and just be like, yo, like, put me on with him, too. No. Listen, let me tell you guys something. I believe in fate. I'm a strong believer in fate, okay? If it's meant to be, he will be guided to the show. Okay? He will be guided to the studio. So, life will take him to where he needs to be, and we'll meet him there. Yeah, I don't know if I have a dream guest or anything. I don't think I have a dream guest. I just, in general, I enjoy the guests that I do have, and I pick them. Like, I'm very selective about who I invite on the show. Like, I want to make sure it's people that I think I could have an interesting conversation with. By the time I've invited someone on the show, I've almost like I've envisioned how the episode will go already. By the time I even hit them up and go like, yo, pull up on the pod, I already know the drill. You need to find your own redneck inbred family to record. Damn, like the Whitakers? That's fucked up. That's fucked up, dude. You guys saw that guy who was like giving them money and shit? What's one person? Yeah, I don't think I have a dream guest. It's literally just like, I don't know, man. Whoever pops into my mind who I think I want to ask some fun questions to is who I get on the show, you know? Like, there's not really a schedule of like, okay, this person. It's literally just what do I want to have? What kind of convo do I want on the show? All right, we're firing it off, you know? We're firing that shit off. RXK Nephew episode was amazing. That's one of my favorites ever, dude. That guy is a trip. It's some of the like one-liners in that were Hall of Fame worthy.